Hello, I'm Lieutenant General Todd Semonite, 54 Chief of Engineers, and we're on the road again. Today we're at Fort Leonard Wood. And I was just spent a couple hours with General Whittle and all of his staff out here talking about the Chief's Dirty Dozen. And one of the most important parts of the regimental priorities is talent management. We do an unbelievable job of acquiring, to be able to develop people, to be able to employ them, and to retain them. And we talk about great NCOs and great officers and great civilians. Today I want to talk a little bit about the Warrant Officers in the Engineer Regiment. With me are CW5 Bussey and CW4 Gadsden. Chief Bussey's the regimental chief out here. We've got about 600 different warrant officers, chief, throughout there. You've got 120 alphas out there, a construction engineer tech. You find those in your BEBs. They're also in the engineer brigades. They're in the division, and they're in the Corps engineer shop, as long as with the ASCC engineer shops, and then in the EAB battalions. Vertical, survey and design, and prime power. So those are all the 120 alpha construction engineer tech. And then the other big group we've got is our geospatial engineers. Those are called 125 deltas. You'll find them in the BCT headquarters. They're in the engineer brigade headquarters, sustainment brigade, and they're also in the division and corps G2 shops. They're in NGA, National Geospatial Agency, and then really the big entity where they're at is they're out in GPCs. Chief, I'm not sure in the regiment we're doing a good enough job of utilizing our warrants. I've known you for a long time. I've known the unbelievable capability out there. We have so much talent. If there's a message that you could send to command sergeant majors, to senior engineer leaders about how to make sure they're leveraging those warrants, what would that message be?
Sir, I say we take our warrant officers and take a look at the training that we have. We have world-class training here at Fort Leonard Wood that we provide in training for our 120 alphas, which is they train in soils, they train in environmental, you name it, survey and design, prime power, vertical construction, infrastructure. So take a look at the capabilities of an engineer warrant officer, in particular 120 alphas. They provide a depth of knowledge of what they can do for the engineer regiment. For our 125 Delta, what they do, they gather data, disseminate data. Our engineer leaders need to grab our 125 Deltas, take them. And I asked my engineer 125 Deltas is to take their senior leaders and say, hey, have OPDs. Let our engineered warrant officers know, let our engineer regiment know the capabilities of an engineer warrant officer.
Well, look, you said that very well. And not only am I so impressed with the quality we also have, but Chief Gadsden, you are the HRC assignments officer. We talk about talent management. If you already have a warrant officer somewhere in your vicinity out there, what should we be doing as a regiment to even take an outstanding warrant officer and make them a world-class warrant officer?
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, sir. So by making them a world-class officer, sir, one of the biggest things that we try to focus on is the distribution of talent. And one of the ways that we try to provide that opportunity is by creating a two-year model. The two-year model provides a great opportunity for our officers to move from position to position, because within the engineer regiment, especially we're dealing with engineer warrant officers, our skill set is so broad that we minimize the opportunity by keeping them in a certain position for an extended amount of time. So what we do is by moving them 18 to 24 months, it gives them a broader spectrum as to how we utilize them and how we can keep them fresh within their trade craft, sir.
So the message to all of us here, again, we have the greatest regiment out there, unbelievable Army, and these are very high speed, very talented senior professionals. I would ask all of you, take a look at those that are around you and make sure you're training your units on how to utilize the value of a warrant. Maybe they might not be organic, but they're either one echelon up, one echelon below. Make sure you're leaning on those warrants to come in. To the warrant officers that are listening, you also have an obligation, and that is get out there and make sure that people understand how to use you. Not just engineers, but the rest of the maneuver force. You do have unbelievable capability, and we want to make sure that we truly are leveraging you. So to both of you, I would just tell you, I'm so impressed with the quality we have, but we in the engineer regiment can't rest on our laurels. We've got to keep raising the bar every single day. So as the chief, I certainly want you to let me know what myself and the sergeant major can do to be able to continue to lean in. But this is a great capability that we got to continue to improve all the way around. We're a great Army. We're Army strong. We're engineer strong. But I got to make sure we're leaning on these warrant officers. And I want to thank both of you for having the opportunity to give this pitch back out to the regiment. So make sure you understand the value of the Warrant Officer Corps. Unbelievable capability. It's what makes it's one of those things that makes our regiment so good. So for Fort Leonard Wood, General Semonite, on the road again.